They say that leaders are born, not made. While it's true that some people are born leaders, some leaders are born in the midst of adversity. Often, people who have never had a leadership role will stand up and take the lead when a situation they care about requires it. Once your participants learn the techniques of true leadership and influence, they will develop the confidence it takes to take the lead. The more experience they have acting as a genuine leader, the easier it will be. They will make better decisions during challenges and experience a natural and rewarding leadership environment.
Leadership and Influence. Module 1, Getting Started. Welcome to the Leadership and Influence Workshop. They say that leaders are born, not made. While it is true that some people are born leaders, some leaders are born in the midst of adversity. Often, simple people who have never had a leadership role will stand up and take the lead when a situation they care about requires it. A simple example is parenting. When a child arrives, many parents discover leadership abilities they never knew existed in order to guide and protect their offspring. There are countless war stories of simple GIs and sailors who rose to a challenge on their own in the heat of battle. Clearly, leadership potential exists within each of us. That potential can be triggered by outside events, or it can be learned by exploring ourselves from within. This training takes the latter approach. Once you learn the techniques of true leadership, you will be able to build the confidence it takes to lead. The more experience you have acting as a genuine leader, the easier it will be for you. It is never easy to take the lead, as you will need to make decisions and face challenges, but it can become natural and rewarding. Leadership is not telling others what to do. Leadership is inspiring others to do what needs to be done. Many people around the world who are in leadership positions are not leaders. Dictators call themselves leaders, but they are not. They are tyrants. There have been many presidents of the United States, but few were real leaders. Genuine leaders take a stand and motivate others to join them in a noble purpose. One such leader was Abraham Lincoln, who ended slavery in the United States. Another was John F. Kennedy, who inspired a nation to go to the moon within a decade, and it did. General Patton had a completely different but no less effective leadership style. What is it that makes a leader, and what separates the good from the great? This workshop will explore different leadership theories and examine what makes a great leader. Influence is subtle yet incredibly powerful. You can order someone to do a task, but you cannot order them to do their best. It simply does not work and usually has the opposite effect. You can influence people to do their best by providing a strong, motivating example in addition to positive reinforcement. Leadership addresses tasks, while influence addresses attitudes and awareness. Influence is the soul of leadership. Module 2, The Evolution of Leadership. As long as there have been leaders, there have been those who tried to determine how and why they were successful. Leadership itself has not evolved, but our understanding of it has. It is important to understand why very different leadership styles can be effective, why the same leadership techniques will not work in every situation, and which leadership style fits your personality best. Everyone has leadership potential within them, but understanding these concepts will help you maximize your leadership ability. Defining leadership. Simply speaking, leadership is defined as the ability to lead. Unfortunately, this is not very helpful. A better definition comes from the BNet Online Business Directory. The capacity to establish direction and to influence and align others toward a common goal, motivating and committing them to action and making them responsible for their performance. Although this is more descriptive, it is not substantial. It does not tell us what leadership actually is, but rather what it does. Characteristics of a leader. The mark of a true leader is not a position or title held, but it is how many people are willing to follow them. Santa Clara University and the Tom Peters Group outline the following leadership characteristics: honest, competent, forward-looking, inspiring, intelligent, fair-minded, broad-minded, courageous, straightforward, imaginative. Leadership principles. The United States Army offers 11 leadership principles. Be tactically and technically proficient. Know yourself and seek self-improvement. Know your soldiers and look out for their welfare. Keep your soldiers informed. Set the example. Ensure the task is understood, supervised, and accomplished. Train your soldiers as a team. Make sound and timely decisions. Develop a sense of responsibility in your subordinates. Employ your unit in accordance with its capabilities. Seek responsibility and take responsibility for your actions. You will notice that none of the above actually tells you how to lead in a practical manner. They don't address what to do or say in any given situation. That is because there is no real formula to being a leader. Leadership must come from within, and it is based on your personality. In this training, you will learn how to develop your innate leadership abilities and build the confidence required in being a true leader. A brief history of leadership. Historical leaders. Throughout the centuries, there have been leaders. We are social animals who bond together, but we look for order against the chaos of life. We look to be organized to accomplish tasks as a society that we cannot perform individually. As a result, someone inevitably ends up in charge. Leaders in the past have generally belonged to one of three categories: political, military, or religious. Political. Around 1790 BC, Babylonian ruler Hammurabi created the codified laws, which unified his empire in what was seen as a fair order as all people were subject to the same rules. Military. Sun Tzu was a military general in China from 500 BC. He wrote The Art of War, and although he was a great military leader, his book is actually about how to not use armies except as a last resort, focusing more on wise political policies and strategies to prevent war. Religious. It may be said that religious leaders have had the greatest impact on their societies, with results that last for centuries. Modern leaders. With the rise of the Industrial Revolution, a new kind of leader emerged: economic. The so-called captains of industry found they could build an empire based on modern technology instead of swords. Oil barons, railroad magnates, and factory owners built large fortunes without the benefit of armies. It was often at the expense of the people they employed. This gave rise to union leaders and various movements designed to promote justice where abuses were perceived to exist. The Industrial Revolution also increased the number of scientific leaders, as scientists now had easy access to a wide range of new materials for their work. Psychiatry and psychology came into prominence with studies on the workplace in regards to improving productivity and the effect on the workplace. Studies have shown consistently that workers are more productive when they are in a positive work environment. The attitude and influence of a boss is a major factor in this productivity. If employees feel they are listened to, respected, and treated fairly, they are happier in their work and perform better than those who they feel are disrespected and unappreciated. Which kind of work environment would you prefer? The three theories of leadership. The Great Man Theory. The Great Man Theory was abandoned in favor of the theories of behavioral science. It's easy to be inspired by stories of great men and women who did great things in their lives. Alexander the Great conquered the known world. Genghis Khan then ravaged most of it. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Harriet Tubman saved hundreds from slavery in the Underground Railroad. Mother Teresa aided and comforted thousands in Calcutta who were abandoned by society. Theory goes that these people did great things because they were simple, great people determined by fate and fulfilling their destiny. The Trait Theory. It has often been said, great leaders are born, not made. Trait theory takes this saying literally. If you have the ability to lead, you were born with it, with no way to learning those skills. This theory expands on the Great Man Theory by defining what makes great leaders great. Today, we recognize that true leadership seems to come from a combination of both theories and more. As we have seen, there are wide varieties of leadership qualities. Everyone has some ability in or at least one or more of these areas. This means that under the right circumstances, anyone can rise to a leadership role and be successful based on the leadership style that best matches their personality if they know how to use that ability to properly address the situation at hand. Other leadership skills can indeed be learned, developed, and mastered. Transformational leadership. In 1978, James McGregor Burns introduced the idea of transformational leadership as he researched political leaders. Burns theorized that transformational leadership is actually a process where leaders interact with their followers and inspire each other to advance together. His characteristics and behaviors demonstrated the differences between management and leadership. People and organizations are transformed due to the leadership style and abilities of the leader, who is able to convey a vision and guide the transformation. Bernard M. Bass in 1985 added to Burns' transformational leadership theory by shifting the focus to the followers. It is not the individual traits and visions of the leaders that matter as much as it is their ability to influence the feelings, attitudes, and commitment of their followers. As we mentioned before in productivity studies, if followers feel they can trust a leader, or better yet, if they admire a leader who can stimulate a sense of loyalty and respect, the followers go beyond what was originally expected of them and will do so happily. As a result, productivity and unity increases. The followers are transformed by a charismatic motivational leader. Summary. Through all of the studies, we have seen that there are a variety of attributes and abilities associated with leadership, and these vary from leader to leader. Some leaders are great orators, others great writers. Some leaders are very quiet, but the force of their logic or passion wins the day. The difference between a good leader and a great leader is partly the number of leadership skills they have developed. The other part is their ability to apply those skills properly to those who would follow. We will address these issues in the next section.
Julie and Mindy had worked side by side for over 5 years. When the company restructured, Julie was given a management position and Mindy became her subordinate. Mindy felt that it was unfair that she now had to take instructions from Julie and was not 100% on board. Julie understood that it would take time to earn back Mindy's respect. She kept a positive attitude when working with Mindy and always kept Mindy informed on things that were relevant to Mindy's job. She assigned tasks to Mindy that she knew Mindy could accomplish, and she gave appropriate feedback when work was delivered. Julie took responsibility for her decisions and didn't blame others when things went wrong. Over time, she gained Mindy's respect and the department's productivity soared.
Module 3, Situational Leadership. Now we get to the nuts and bolts of leadership. The definitive leadership style research comes from Paul Hersey and Kenneth Blanchard, which they expressed in their situational leadership model. The Hersey-Blanchard model addresses the key to practical leadership development, the attributes and styles of the followers. Not everyone is on the same intellectual maturity, compliance, or motivation level. Different people are motivated by different things, and this must be taken into account if one is to be a great leader. Communications experts consider it crucial to tailor your message to your target audience. It is the followers that you want to motivate and influence, and you cannot do that if you don't know whom you are trying to motivate or influence. The situational leadership model addresses 4 types of leadership styles based on the follower: telling, selling, participating, delegating. Situational leadership continued. The goal is to develop followers to the delegating level, as seen below. Situational leadership, telling. Telling is the lowest level of leadership style. Most new employees require direct instructions, so this is called the telling or directing style. The follower is characterized by low competence and high commitment, being unable to comply with possible feelings of insecurity. The leader must focus highly on tasks rather than a relationship with the employee, as a relationship does not yet exist. When an employee can't do the job because they are unknowledgeable, the leader must spend much more time working with the employee, offering clear instructions and regular follow-up. The leader must be encouraging and motivational, offering praise for positive results and correction for less than positive results. The idea is to motivate the follower to rise to the next level of ability. This is a very leader-driven stage. Situational leadership, selling. Selling addresses the follower who has developed some competence with an improved commitment. The follower is not convinced yet, but is open to becoming cooperative and motivated. The leader must still focus highly on tasks, and this still requires much of the leader's time, but the focus now also includes developing a relationship with the employee. Build upon the trust that has begun to develop and the encouragement that has been demonstrated. The leader must spend more time listening and offering advice, scheduling the follower for additional training if the situation requires it. The goal is to engage the follower so they can develop to the next level. There is less telling and more suggesting, which leads to more encouragement. Acting as a coach. It is recognition that they have progressed and motivates them to progress even further. This is a very leader-driven stage. Situational leadership, participating. Participating addresses the follower who is now competent at the job but remains somewhat inconsistent and is not yet fully committed. The follower may be uncooperative or performing as little work as possible despite their competence with the tasks. The leader must participate with and support the follower. The leader no longer needs to give detailed instructions and follow up as often, but does need to continue working with the follower to ensure the work is being done at the level required. The follower is now highly competent but is not yet convinced in his or her ability or not fully committed to do their best and excel. The leader must now focus less on the tasks assigned and more on the relationship between the follower, the leader, and the group. This is a very follower-driven, relationship-focused stage. Situational leadership, delegating. Delegating is the ultimate goal, a follower who feels fully empowered and competent enough to take the ball and run with it with minimal supervision. The follower is highly competent, highly committed, motivated, and empowered. The leader can now delegate tasks to the follower and observe with minimal follow-up, knowing that acceptable or even excellent results will be achieved. There is a low focus on tasks and a low focus on relationships. There is no need to compliment the follower on every task, although continued praise for outstanding performance must be given as appropriate. This is a very follower-driven stage.
Jackie became frustrated with her staff members. She said to her manager, "I feel I'm putting in 120%. I'm exhausted." Paulette frowned a little. "Whenever I hear that, I feel like perhaps the manager may not be delegating the right way." Jackie admitted, "I give a lot of detailed information and follow up with my employees very frequently, just to make sure everything goes perfectly." Paulette was honest with her. "While it's great that you're so attentive, perhaps your staff is feeling micromanaged. Even if you're afraid that something might go awry, if you step back and let them carry out tasks on their own, you may ultimately see better results." Jackie took Paulette's advice. When she trusted her employees, things went much more smoothly.
Module 4, A Personal Inventory. In 2002, Josie Bass published a book by James Kouzes and Barry Posner called The Leadership Challenge. Building upon the Hersey-Blanchard model and other transformational leadership models, they went to the heart of what skills are required by the leader to stimulate such a transformation. What abilities are able to influence followers and bring them to accept the leader's vision as their own? An introduction to Kouzes and Posner. James Kouzes and Barry Posner asked thousands of people to rank lists of characteristics associated with leadership, including the 7 top qualities that motivated them to follow willingly. They gave this survey to over 75,000 people over a 20-year period. In their book, The Leadership Challenge, the authors identified 5 abilities that were crucial to successful leadership. Model the way. You must lead by example. You can't come into work 10 minutes late every day if you want your employees to arrive on time. Inspire a shared vision. If you capture the imagination, you will inspire creative thought and increase loyalty. The vision doesn't need to be grandiose, but it needs to be communicated effectively for others to adopt it as one of their own. Challenge the process. Don't continue doing something just because we've always done it that way. Situations change, and sometimes a policy or procedure never worked well in the first place. Think outside the box. Enable others to act. Truly empower people to act on their own within their level of authority. The famed Ritz-Carlton Hotel empowers every employee at all levels to spend up to $1,000 on behalf of a guest, who is informed reimbursement will be required for whatever request they make. Encourage the heart. A positive attitude is infectious. If the leader appears passionate or excited about the vision, others will catch the enthusiasm as well. Creating an action plan. Now that you understand the various concepts, it's time to plan how to put them into action by incorporating them into your life. Set leadership goals. In leadership, as in life, you will never come to the end of your learning, but you want to rank in priority order those qualities you want to develop. Address the goals. Determine how you will accomplish your goals. Do you feel you need to learn more about teamwork so you can better lead a team? Join a team sport. Do you want to communicate better? Take a creative writing class or join Toastmasters and get some public speaking experience. Toastmasters are also great if you are shy and want to feel more comfortable in social situations. Seek inspiration. Learn about a variety of leaders, including their styles with dealing with challenges. Read books and conduct research on the internet or at libraries. Choose a role model. Based on your research, choose a role model that fits your personality. You might choose a dynamic leader like Teddy Roosevelt or an intellectual leader like Albert Schweitzer or Albert Einstein. Read several biographies and find videos on his or her life. Seek experience. Take a leadership role in a social group or club. Gain experience working with people on many levels. Create a personal mission statement. Imagine your legacy. How do you want to be remembered? What do you want people to think of you? What type of leader are you determined to be? Write a statement that defines who you will become.
Yolanda wasn't sure why the morale of her employees was down. She definitely worked on enabling others to act and rewarded people taking the initiative. It was only when she went back to her training manual on leadership that she realized what she'd been missing. Yolanda entered into a meeting room with a new, more positive attitude. She started by showing enthusiasm and passion for their tasks at hand. She made sure to smile, and while of course she had to be an authority figure when it was realistic, she found ways to genuinely compliment others to show them that their work was appreciated. It was clear that the manual was right. A positive attitude is infectious.
Module 5, Modeling the Way. Remember that the best leaders are examples of what they want their followers to be. George Washington rode into battle with his troops. You cannot lead from the rear, and sending your followers out to take the heat and face the challenges while you remain in an ivory tower will eliminate any possibility of respect. By definition, a leader is in the lead, right up front, ready to take the heat if something goes wrong. If something does go wrong, a true leader never blames his followers, even if in fact they failed. A true leader takes the blame and then addresses how to correct the problems that arose. Determining your way. Once you have chosen your role model, study what qualities made them successful. Learn about what challenges they faced and how the challenges were met. Learn about the ideas and philosophies that drove them and made them successful. Study again the Hersey-Blanchard model and see how different situations called for different styles of leadership. Since there is no leader in history who has not had failures, pay particular attention to how your hero deals with adversity. George Washington nearly lost the American Revolution through major hesitations in leadership, and in fact, he lost New York to the British General William Howe, but he learned from his mistakes, and the rest, as they say, is history. Being an inspirational role model. Leadership is neither for the timid nor the arrogant. Confidence is often resented or misinterpreted for arrogance. People who lack self-confidence often feel intimidated by a true leader. This should never hold you back. If you have honesty, integrity, and deal with everyone fairly, then others will see that. Be willing to listen to criticism, but also consider the source. If you are too afraid of what others might say about you, or you ignore legitimate complaints, insisting on respect solely because of your position, you will lose the respect and cooperation of your followers and peers. President Theodore Roosevelt said it best. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is not effort without error and shortcomings. But who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows the great enthusiasm, the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. Influencing others' perspectives. You may have heard that perception is reality. You must always present an honest, caring, dedicated attitude to inspire others. To inspire loyalty, you must have a track record of honesty and fairness. If any of your followers do feel they have been wronged for whatever reason, you need to address the issue immediately. People talk, and a problem ignored is a problem that grows. Believe it or not, the most powerful influence you can have is often not trying to influence someone. When people believe you are open to their suggestions and believe they have been heard, they will work harder even if they disagree with the methods or goals. That is the power of listening. Simply listening to others makes them feel empowered even if you don't accept their suggestions. If a follower feels there's no point in talking to you, they won't, and they will disengage themselves from your vision and will only follow your directions begrudgingly. If you are seen as going the extra mile, your followers are more likely to go the extra mile. If you hide in your office and people never see you, you will be perceived as out of the loop, uninformed, uninterested, and therefore unworthy to lead. Many a successful corporate executive makes it a point to be seen by their employees every day. If an employee is to be commended for something, it is done publicly, often right in the middle of their workplace while they are surrounded by their coworkers. That sends a powerful message to everyone.
Justin had a difficult time being a leader lately. Things had just felt monotonous and stale, and he was wondering why he'd ever wanted to be a leader in the first place. He sat down to talk with the leader of another group of employees to refocus. Amy listened to Justin, and then she asked him, "In the past, when you dreamed about becoming a leader, who inspired you?" Justin thought about this for a moment, and then he said, "I've always been inspired by Martin Luther King Jr. He was courageous, and he stood up for his beliefs." This got Justin thinking, and before he knew it, he had a list of ideas for how he could reinvigorate his staff and himself.
Module 6, Inspiring a Shared Vision. The key to true leadership is to inspire a shared vision among your followers. Before you can convey a vision, however, you have to develop it. You must be clear in your vision, live it before others can see it, and model it from your behavior. Choosing your vision. What do you want to accomplish, and what do you need to do to get there? Determine attainable goals and focus on them. King Arthur sought the Holy Grail. Lewis and Clark mapped much of the United States. NASA took us to the moon. What is your vision? Your vision will provide a sense of direction for you and your followers. In the military, focus is on the mission. Whatever the mission is, everyone is dedicated to it. Let your vision be like a lighthouse on a hill, guiding ships to safety and warning them away from the rocks. Communicating your vision. Communication is more than just the words you say or the memos you write. Remember, actions speak louder than words. Take every opportunity to communicate your vision in words and deeds. One of the best ways to communicate a vision is to sum it up in a simple catchphrase. Post your slogan, catchphrase, and mission statement in prominent locations. When you send out emails, list it in quotes below your signature block. Hold meetings occasionally or hand out visionary awards to people who exemplify your vision. Above all, lead by example. Identifying the benefit for others. Answer the question, "What's in it for me?" as if you were one of your own followers. The answer might not always be obvious. Certainly, performance bonuses and awards work, but most followers enjoy being part of a larger, successful organization. Everyone loves a winner. When the home team wins at the stadium, you would think the fans in the stand were the players by the way they share in the victory and excitement. We are social creatures who like to feel like we belong. We crave acceptance. If you can get your followers to accept your vision as their own and excite them about being part of it, they will often excel beyond what you or they thought possible. Be sure to reward loyalty and performance above and beyond the call of duty.
Bruce spoke passionately about his company's vision. He believed in their product, and he wanted his employees to feel the same enthusiasm. He'd been racking his brain for a way to instill this in his team as their manager. He got nice paper and printed out certificates. He also bought small prizes, like candies, bright-colored office supplies, and lottery tickets. He waited until Sean, one of his newer employees, used his own enthusiasm and passion to secure a new client. Bruce announced to the office, "I'd just like to take a moment to congratulate Sean on his new client. He used his enthusiasm for our product to sign them on. I'd like to give him this visionary award for exemplifying our vision."